Hello, and welcome to another episode of Extra Crunch Live. I'm Jordan Crook, and I'm going to be your host today. Extra Crunch Live is all about helping founders build better venture-backed businesses. We usually do that by talking to founders and the investors who finance them to find out how they met, why they chose each other, and how they work together moving forward. But today we have a very special edition of Extra Crunch Live. It's our Startup Alley edition. That means the entire episode is going to be a pitch off, and the companies that are going to be pitching are going to be featured in the Startup Alley at Disrupt. Disrupt this year goes down September 21st through 23rd, and you can pick up a ticket by clicking the link in the chat. And with that, I'm very, very excited to introduce our guests who are going to be giving their live feedback to our pitching companies. Our first guest is Alexa von Tobel. Alexa is the founder and general partner at Inspired Capital. She also is the founder of LearnVest, which sold for hundreds of millions of dollars to Northwestern Mutual. She's a certified financial planner. She actually gave a talk at Early Stage earlier this year on financial planning for founders. She's a regular here at TechCrunch events. We're very excited to have her. Alexa, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.
We're also joined by Anis Uzzaman. He's the founder and partner of Pegasus Tech Ventures, whose portfolio includes SpaceX, Airbnb, 23andMe, Coinbase, Robinhood, SoFi, DoorDash. The list kind of goes on and on. It's an incredibly impressive portfolio that he's put together. He's been an operator, an entrepreneur, and now he's an investor. Anis, thank you so much for hanging out with us. We're excited to have you. Okay, so this pitch off will work as follows. Each founder will have exactly 1 minute to pitch their wares to our expert VC judges. And then Anis and Alexa will give their feedback for 4 minutes. We have 10-ish companies lined up. We'll see how it goes. So grab some popcorn and enjoy. I think it's time that we should just go ahead and get after it. Our first company is called Moneystack, and pitching will be Alex DeMarco, who's the founder and CEO. Alex, if you can go ahead and just turn your camera on and mic on, come join us. There he is. What's up, Alex?
Hi everyone.
Okay, so what's going to happen is you're going to see a timer on the screen. It's going to count down 3, 2, 1, and then you'll have a minute to go. And from there, Alexa and Anis will jump in and give you their feedback. So Julio, hit it.
All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Alex DeMarco, and I'm the founder of Moneystack. I was previously a director of engineering at the New York Times, and I'm a former startup founder. I lead a diverse team on a mission to make trustworthy financial advice more accessible to the 99% of us who aren't rich. The way we do this is through peer support groups for buying your first home, changing careers, and other big financial decisions in life. We're going to be running our first peer support groups for our first enterprise customer this summer. What's really unique about our solution is our financial planning app that makes it easy for consumers to collaborate safely with peers in their group and get help from financial professionals on demand. My wife and I paid off a ton of debt over a 9-year period, and through that process, we learned how embarrassing, intimidating, and frustrating it can be to try to find people you can trust to talk to about money. I'd love to answer your questions about how we're solving that problem, and for everyone here today, please feel free to email me at alex@moneystack.com. Thank you.
Wow, so you probably couldn't get 2 better investors for this for this pitch to give you some feedback, Alex. So I'm just going to pass it off. Alexa, you wanna jump in here?
Sure. First of all, Alex, lovely to meet you. And I'll just start by saying, obviously, this is a topic that I deeply care about the mission. So just first, thank you for Americans badly need help with their money. 78% live paycheck to paycheck, and that number's gotten worse since COVID. So just totally understand the problem you're trying to solve. Some practical things for you to think about. So one, I think finding like-minded peer groups where you can really be really open and honest. In so many ways, it's like weight loss, right? Putting people together, trying to keep people motivated and focused. I think you're right that having other groups that you can talk to is going to be helpful. Things to think about, the business model. How are you going to make money? People who are really struggling financially, obviously, you don't want to charge them for these peer groups that are so important. So how do you think about, as you scale, how does that work? What is the platform that you have to build? But I do believe that a fitness gym for your wallet, essentially, where you can stay motivated, stay healthy, and stay committed, is something that people really badly need. And I think what you have to think about is what is the core hook that's going to get people not only excited, staying, willing to pay, because once you pay off your credit card debt, what's next? Keeping them on the journey. And money is hard, as you know. It's most people are pretty overwhelmed. So Anis, I don't know where you want to jump in, but those are my quick thoughts.
Thank you.
Again, Alex, thanks, Alexa. I think I totally agree with Alexa. She had some good advices. Congratulations, Alex, on putting together your new venture. I hope you'll do well. As I will echo the same thing as Alexa mentioned, that you need to find out clear differentiation, because there is so many tools out there who are actually helping with financial planning, right? But it is a core need that we have in the industry. Make sure whatever you put together, it is easily applicable to the regular market. So make sure that the interface is easy to understand, right? It is also a mobile-based interface. And I think that will most probably give you the punchline, because I think when you explained financial planning, it can mean it's a broad theme in some sense, right? And how do you make it easy to understand, easily applicable to our daily life? So maybe you can take a little bit of time and explain us a little bit about the core business model, what Alex actually was pointing out.
Sure. So really the first revenue stream really comes from when people use our free version of the app and upgrade for certain premium features that that will be made available to them. So a subscription model. On the back end, financial advisors joining our network, paying a network membership fee to have access to users of the app to lead peer support groups. And once we reach a critical mass of users on the platform, registered users, free users, as well as premium users, we'll be able to introduce other financial products that will generate additional revenue streams for us. So
the peer group that you have put together, are they like top experts in the industry? Are they going to bring good value, you think?
I'm sorry, can
so
you
the peer group, that the advisors that you have behind who are actually helping to answer these questions, are they top experts in the industry? Are you able to secure good people?
So the financial advisors that we bring into our network are going to be vetted. We're also looking for coaches more than advisors, so people who want to work side by side as allies with our peer groups, alongside members in the group to guide them towards the goal that they're trying to achieve, whether it be buying their first home or changing jobs. So it's really not about sales and introducing them to new financial products, but it's more about being their ally, helping them work through problems as a group.
Thank you, Alex. Love your idea.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
It was a great job, Alex, and great call to action as well. That was Moneystack. Okay, so let's keep moving. We're going to go to our next company. Is called Paperchain, and pitching for Paperchain will be CEO Daniel Dewar. So Daniel, if you could just pop your camera and microphone on.
Hey everyone.
Absolutely crushed that part. So good luck on the next part. Julio, why don't you go ahead and count us down?
Hi, I'm Daniel, CEO and founder of Paperchain, an instant payments card for online creators. So streaming media has made content distribution and consumption instant for over 100 million creators, but payments are still slow and they suck. Streaming creators need streaming money, and Paperchain is like streaming money for online creators. Spend it, withdraw it, earn interest on it. No more loans, no more advances or credit cards. Your content revenue paid every day. So Paperchain is built and backed by creators. We build music technology and fintech platforms, and now we're building the new creative finance layer. We're one of 9 companies in the world building the first banking products on top of Stripe Treasury. We're the first company to finance streaming revenue using decentralized finance protocols, and we've already paid out $1 million to creators, and we've just partnered with United Masters to deliver instant payments to 10,000 of the select creators. And soon we'll be opening up Paperchain to everyone. So if you're ready for streaming money, sign up for Paperchain at paperchain.io, where instant creative payments live. Thank you.
Fantastic. I feel like you packed a lot into that. Why don't we start with you, Anis? What do you think about this? What are your questions?
Thank you very much for your presentation, Daniel. I think you have great vision. I also have most probably seen your startup. You most probably also issuing a card, right? Paperchain card.
Right.
Can you quickly touch base on that how this software solution and the card plays into the whole thing?
Yeah, well, on one side, there is the pricing of streaming data. So the reason why this hasn't been done before is because streaming data isn't priced on a daily basis. So on one side, we built a model that allows us to take historical streaming data, not only the financial data and the actual stream counts, to enable us to accurately price revenue on a daily basis. Once we take that, we can then on the back end, we actually have a pretty sophisticated financing facility that allows us to finance that based on the data, is be able to finance those and finally put those funds into the accounts of our creators. And that's how they access it. So the card is really just about instant access, which is something that all creators understand.
Very good. I think whatever you do, focus on the interface so that people can easily understand the solution. Okay. And it looks like you're on a great track. Thank you very much and congratulations.
Thanks, Denise.
Thank you.
Hey, Daniel. I would just start by saying, first of all, I agree with your core thesis. The creator economy has exploded, better financial access for them, better ways to monetize what they do. And I think your traditional bank and traditional financial platforms don't fully understand, nor do they even know how to really think about this new economy. And so I think something at the intersection between the two is a really good idea. Can you talk a little bit more about who your early customers are and what that's going to look like? So just give us a live customer experience. You've already sounds like you've generated really significant revenue out of the gate, which is also awesome. So give us a sense of what's working and what does it feel like?
So at the moment, our distribution model is the B2B2C model. We took a lot of inspiration from the buy now, pay laters and the success they had to acquire large consumer customers by partnering at the retail level. And we're very similar, partner at the distribution level and eventually to the platform level. So once we partnered with those platforms, we can then offer instant payments. So they send out invites to all of their creators and say, hey, we're partnering with Paperchain to offer instant payments. Go here to sign up. And that can be a push notification through their app or via email. And that's how we're acquiring customers at the moment. What we're working on now is being able to open it up to any creator. So any creator can come and sign up and and get access to a Paperchain card. They can direct all of their income to the card. They just won't have instant payments yet until we have a partnership with their distribution layer. And so we want to use that as leverage to say, well, hey, we've got thousands of your creators with our accounts. They all want instant payments. Let's do a deal so we can give it to them. That's kind of like the acquisition and go-to-market that we're in the middle of right now.
Yeah, Daniel, I thought that you. Oh, go ahead, Alexa. Both of you.
Go ahead, Jordan.
I was just going to say, I think that the problem is slightly self-explanatory, but I think you could have spent just a touch more time on the problem and just how painful it is for creators and left some of the traction stuff for your Q&A, in my opinion. I think that like problem is more important than product more often than not. And just like, oh, it takes a little bit, like if I'm not a creator, I might not know fully, the pain that you're talking about. So I think maybe elongating that. Sorry, Alexa, Ennis, more thoughts for him?
Daniel, one more item that I wanted to quickly touch base that you're dealing with a lot of people and data, and security becomes a big thing. So you definitely want to focus on the security part. Are you using some kind of blockchain or something to make it, more diverse in some sense?
No, I mean, we leverage for example, for customer data that's handled by Stripe and things like that. So we try to silo everything to limit our exposure when it comes to things like financial and customer data. One of our investors was the CTO at Zip, who's been helpful in putting together that architecture for us.
Okay. Unfortunately, we're out of time, Daniel, but you nailed it. And
way to go, Daniel. I love it.
Yeah, thanks, really good answers too. So, okay, we're going to bring our next company on. Again, good job, Daniel, with Paperchain. Our next company is Baypay, and Schofield Ye, who's founder and CEO, will be pitching. If you can go ahead and turn on your mic and your camera. And while they do that, I want to encourage everyone in the audience. You can also, our founders are here. They're in the chat with you. So if you have questions for them or you want to know more about their companies, I highly encourage you to go ahead and put that into the chat. All right, Schofield. Oh, you were so close. Try once more. Yes.
Hi.
There he is. How you doing?
Yeah, great. I'm doing great. Thank you.
Okay, fantastic. So Julio's going to count you in. You're going to have 60 seconds, Schofield. You can take it away from there.
Okay, thanks. Hello, everyone. My name is Schofield, founder and CEO of Baypay. Baypay is Stripe for the blockchain. We provide software and APIs to accept payment or send payout in cryptos, and manage their business on the token commerce, especially for the cross-border B2B payment. For instance, a real estate company can collect funds in cryptos from Chinese investors, or shop can place orders to manufacturers in China and settle a payment in cryptos. But the borderless payment in cryptos is not as easy as you may think. We have to work with financial institutions, regulators, payment networks, banks, and crypto wallets. So business who runs on Baypay don't have to worry about the financial complexity and the crypto-related compliance. Let's accept crypto payments to grow your revenue and increase the GDP of blockchain today. We are Baypay. Thanks for your time.
Great job, Schofield. That was fantastic. Alexa, you want to kick us off here?
Yeah, Schofield, first, lovely to meet you. I'd love to dive in. Can you give us a real-life customer example? What's working, exactly how you interface with the customer, and what probably is the maybe most used customer example?
Okay, one of our customers is from Singapore. They do a real estate development in Malaysia. So they want to get an investor from Chinese, but it's very hard for them to do the traditional way. So they want to accept the invest fund in USDT, which is a stable coin of the blockchain. So we help them to collect the fund and transfer the money into the US dollar and to put deposit to their bank. So most of our company, they do the cross-border payment, and we help them to do the crypto to the fiat money, especially in stablecoin. Not like other company, they do the Bitcoin, Ethereum, or the other cryptos, but we most focus in stablecoins.
Can I jump in, Alexa?
Okay.
Thank you. So congratulations, Schofield. One of the biggest things that for your company that I will be focusing on is the compliance, because you are doing cross-border transactions, and most of the governments are very, very tough on this kind of transactions. I recently, looked into a company called Veeam, VEEM. They are doing it for, green dollars. They're not doing it for crypto, but they had to really figure out how they're going to transfer the money across the border and still be compliant with each government. When you're doing the transactions with crypto, the problem is that you need to also notify each individual government that you are also doing it, and many governments do not allow it. I know that China is very tough on crypto right now. So you mentioned China a few times, so I want to be very, very careful. I think as you're doing with cross-border transactions and you're looking at these, you also have a lot of competitors, and your competitors are pretty big actually at this point. So you need to really come up with an edge and differentiating point, but also be very, very careful about the compliance, because that's what the major factor is going to be. Many of your competitors who are pretty big in size, what I have seen is that they are hiring compliance big shot people to actually become their co-founder, so that the investors also feel comfortable investing in you, because that will become the biggest question, that how you're solving that problem. I know that it makes things easy when you're doing with crypto because nobody can see it, but there is issue with the government and the regulatory boards in different countries.
Our problem not only from the regulator, but for the accounting auditing, because I have to prove the money came from the buyer, because the crypto is no record about the fund is where coming from. So we face a lot of issue about that. As to the crypto that we work with Binance, we work with Bitfinex. So we more like we provide API, just like Stripe. We help them to deal with those things, but we are not doing the crypto to the fiat. Yeah.
Alexa, sorry.
Yeah, I was just going to dive in and say, stating the obvious, I think security and fraud is going to be one of your biggest issues. And so just making sure, to Anis's point, that you overinvest there, and then think about how you're going to carve out your wedge so that you can play in a scalable way against some of the bigger dogs that have significant capital to throw at this problem. You've got to figure out what your wedge is going to be.
Yes, that's one of our problem we need to fix. Yeah.
And good luck.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you, Schofield.
go. Okay, problem solved. Technical glitches. Fantastic job, Schofield. Appreciate you coming on and pitching. Excited to see you at Startup Alley. And like I said to everyone in the audience, you can go ahead and ask questions that you have for Schofield in the chat. We're going to move on to our next company, Hedge. So Alec Gucci, CFO and co-founder, if you could pop on, and Schofield, you can go ahead and exit. There we go. We're just going to get Hedge up on screen. There he is. How you doing, Alec?
Doing well. How are you?
Just fine. Happy as a clam.
You can hear me okay?
We can. Yeah, loud and clear.
Awesome.
You look great, by the way.
Thank you.
Okay, Julio, you can go ahead and count him in. Let's get it going.
Okay, cool. Hi, everybody. My name is Alec Gucci. I'm a co-founder of Hedge. So Hedge offers roundups as a service where nearly any financial technology company, gaming company, or company utilizing a point-of-sale solution can give their users the power of their spare change. Our solution will save development teams weeks, months, and a lot of development resources with the goal of enhancing their current payment technology stack. We're currently working on vetting out and meeting with companies from various industries to build up our pilot program. We started off as a B2C company offering roundups to a specific vertical, but we realized that widespread appetite for digital spare change did exist within B2C applications. The spare change addressable market is roughly $150 billion industry. By diversifying spare change options for users while eliminating the headache and time to build such a functionality, Hedge will be at the forefront of the spare change democratization for investing, gambling, and charitable donations alike. Thank you. I look forward to hearing the questions and feedback.
Good job, Alec. I'm having trouble remembering which of you went first, but whoever's most excited, jump in.
Alexa, go ahead.
I was just going to say, Alec, first of all, can you explain a little bit more about the problem of the spare change, given that everything is in digital currency now? I mean, I understand in cash it matters. If you're using a credit card, spare change doesn't become a problem. So talk a little bit more about the problem statement that you're trying to solve.
Yeah, so essentially, there exists just a wall between the payment processing and the company itself that we were able to solve by working with a company called Dwolla, which is a payment processor, an ACH, where you essentially connect your bank account to the digital wallet, and then it aggregates your transactions. So if you do a transaction of $355, $440, it takes the spare change, aggregates it, and then deposits into your wallet in $5 increments or $10 increments, depending on your appetite for the transactional fees. And the issue that comes for a normal company to integrate this is that aggregation, and it's only possible to do through ACH. You can't just do it through a credit card because you need to aggregate the amounts into the $5, $10 increments to deposit. And it was a pretty complex process to get that figured out for our initial B2C offering. And we feel like we can be that middleman that both works with the payment processor and the company while also building out that aggregator and connection between the company and the payment processor.
Cool. Ennis, what do you think?
So congratulations, Alec, for putting together this company. I know that, with spare changes, some of the companies like Robinhood, for example, is also making you to invest, and they're advertising in a big way, right? How do you compete with them?
Yeah, so the toughest part is definitely to compete with the Acorns of the world and the companies that are offering spare change in an extremely unique way. So the best way to do that is to have this spare change. It'll be a way to help companies increase their deposits as opposed to compete with existing companies. So if you take a company for example, one of the companies we're looking to partner with, it's called Jackpocket. It's a company that offers you can buy lottery tickets on a mobile application. And this would be a way for them to have people deposit additional funds onto the account as opposed to their normal deposit process. So we feel like we can help companies increase the amount of money flowing onto their platforms.
I think you're on the right track. If I were you, I would do the same thing. I will go for more. You mentioned in the beginning B2C a little bit, so that got me a little bit scared. I think you should go for B2B first, and then find out Acorns of the world who can take your help as a backend. If you can find out more B2B2C model, then I think you have the better chance to expand faster. I know that landing those relationships are going to be tough, but I think you want to go after the semi-minded startups who are big now, so that they understand your feeling rather than going and hit American Express. Don't do that. Okay. So go for the startups who are already big and who have already gone through the struggle, and tell them to help you as a partner. I think that will definitely help you if you go to the B2B2C channel.
Okay, thank you.
Something that I've heard. Oh, go ahead, Alexa. No, your feedback is more important than mine. I promise.
I was just going to say, almost what I'm hearing a little bit is you're building in a firm for your micro payments as a way to basically roll them up any single time you potentially check out online to take whatever the change is and roll it into something more productive for your wallet. Am I hearing that properly?
Yeah. Basically, yeah.
Yeah, I think with Anna's feedback saying go B2B potentially is a really smart way for you to find scale for what you're building.
Okay, thank you, Alexa and Anna.
Good luck with everything.
My only piece of feedback, Alec, real quick, is just that I would practice this. I know 1 minute is a really short amount of time to explain an incredibly complicated business, what it sounds like. I would just practice as much as you can, and this is something Alexa's actually said in previous episodes of TechCrunch Live. Practice with people who aren't in your world and who don't know what you're talking about as much as possible, so that you can really nail it every single time when you're communicating and depending on the audience.
Thank you, Jordan.
Okay, great pitch, Alec, and that was Hedge. We are going to bring on our next company, but before we do, so just hold tight, Rob. I know you're ready to go. I just wanted to tell people a little bit about Disrupt real quick, because these are the companies that are going to be exhibiting in the Startup Alley at Disrupt. A couple of the speakers that we have, just to name a few, and Alexa will be there as well. Stuart Butterfield and Brett Taylor are going to be coming. That's Slack and Salesforce, kind of a mega duo there. Robert Downey Jr. will be here to talk about climate tech investment. Melanie Perkins from Canberra, that's like a $4 billion valuation company. Secretary of Transportation Pete Buttigieg. Chamath Palihapitiya is going to be talking about SPACs. And of course, we have the Startup Battlefield. We have Startup Alley. It's going to be an incredible show. And tickets are available right now. It's going to be virtual. So anyone can come no matter where you are. It's going to be affordable. It's going to be fun. There's opportunities to network and learn a lot from our speakers. And that's just on the Disrupt stage. I haven't even gotten into the Extra Crunch stage. So please go check out the agenda at the very least. We would love to have you there. It's the big one. Okay, with that, I want to bring on our next company, GameDriver, Rob Gutierrez. Rob, are you with me? Just turn on that mic and that camera. There we go.
There we go.
Here's my GameDriver. I'm excited about this. I'm a gamer, so I'm hoping that you're about to say something that's very exciting to me. If GameDriver is something that's doesn't have to do with gaming, you're in big trouble, Rob.
I will do my best.
Okay, I'm just joking. Here you go. Take it away.
40% of software budgets are spent on QA, and costs are only going up. For 3 decades, QA's used automation to mitigate the immense costs of quality. That is, except in video games, AR, and VR. By 2025, gaming and XR will be worth $500 billion, larger than the NFL, NBA, NHL, MLB, music, and movies combined. GameDriver is automation for games in XR. As past leaders and the largest test tooling vendors, we live and breathe this industry, and we've launched 6 products to market. GameDriver is the first and patent-pending test platform for gaming and XR. It's practical and immediately applicable. We license annually, and we're very, very sticky. Doing nothing is the biggest competitor, and that's not sustainable. We're on track today for 1,000 users within 9 months and $5 million in ARR by 2024. And with over $750 million in exits in the past year alone, this industry is hot, but our niche remains novel. GameDriver's early investors include a slate of automation industry veterans, but now it's time to grow. Today, we're preparing a seed round to support more platforms and engines, and I'm inviting you to come play with us.
Wow, that was really good.
I'll dive in and just first say, A+ presentation skills. Literally, that was beautifully done. I want to give you a gold star in every way. Also, just what a fascinating category. I appreciate basically what you're saying is for game technologists that there isn't a phenomenal scalable QA infrastructure, and that's what you're building, and the category is exploding and growing rapidly. So I would just say, not only do I think you're a phenomenal presenter, but then also the idea is a big one, and I really appreciate it. One of my questions would be, can you talk a little bit about how big you think your business can get? How do you think about that in terms of your market sizing and kind of the next 5 to 10 years?
I mentioned a little bit about the history of where we worked before, and there was we worked for the industry leader in company that introduced the category decades ago. And what they were really able to do was to create a career. And by the time that I had gotten into the space, I would go see clients. I was started in the sales side, but I would go see clients, and there would be people who had built their entire careers in test automation because of the tools that have been presented. I think we can do the same thing.
Anis, what do you think?
So that was a great presentation, Rob. I have to really, thank you for that. Congratulations. I happen to be actually, have three, large game developer, my LP, my limited partners. They happen to be Sega, Bandai, and Koei Tecmo. They're large. And as I talk to the Sega CEO, I think he always tells me that one of their biggest, kind of hurdle is that they need to spend a lot of money, in the testing process. Yes. So my advice to you would be that I definitely see a pain point in the industry already, because I have three big game, developers, my, investors in some sense. So I would definitely, approach some of these big game developing companies who have large pool of money and they're spending a lot of money in the testing process. If you can make their life easier, which is, it sounds like you do, and you have a patent, also on this area, I think you definitely want to partner with them, because they are your biggest clients and they're spending, hundreds of millions of dollars in this, right? So yes, please go for that. I think you definitely want to work with us as well. Definitely give me a holler afterwards. But I think, this is actually, Jordan, I'm not sure whether we're allowed to do that. But
I don't know what's allowed. I mean,
but definitely, this is something interesting, because I can definitely introduce you to a bunch of people like who might be interested in listening to you, because this is actually a definitely big pain point in the gaming industry. But you were saying that it can be applicable to other industries also, right? You mentioned, and because Q&A process is definitely an intense process. So you're on the right track, you're in the right industry, but definitely try to make sure that you create some models where you can actually show the clear differentiation, that this is how much it's taking now, and this is how much you're spending right now, versus this is how much it will take you tomorrow with my product and solution, and how much it will reduce your cost down. If you can show that clear differentiation, I think people will be more convinced, and you want to go with that, because at the end of the day, all of these game developers, they want to save money, and you are solving a real problem. Also, another part that where you need to be very, very sensitive for the adoption side, when they're adopting your tools, that how much of work is that? You want to make that process extremely simple, so that, your interface, whatever that is, API or SDK, is simple enough for them to adopt, and it does not need a big engineering cost, because that actually can be a deal breaker for you in some sense. Okay.
I was just going to add one more thing, which is not only cost saving mechanisms, but also speed to market. Right now in this category, in this environment, money is not our most limiting asset, time is, and so the ability to get your product faster to market is going to be a huge advantage. And definitely get us your email address.
Okay, thank you very much.
Wait, can I just ask a question, Rob? Are you like aggregating human testers, or have you actually built? That's crazy. Okay, yeah. Good luck.
We built a test framework that's very similar to Selenium, but for gaming. And I'm out of time, so I don't want to answer. I can't answer all the questions.
No, but it's cool. We'll all talk later. How about that?
All right.
Okay.
Good luck.
Great job, Rob.
Thank you.
Okay. Domo Safety is our next company. Guillaume Dupasquier is the CEO. I think I got it. I can't wait for him to come on and tell me that I nailed the pronunciation of his name. Just hit that mic and camera button, Guillaume, as soon as you can. Did I say your name right, Guillaume?
Guillaume, yeah, right.
Oh, okay, cool. That feels good. I'm cultured. Okay, take it away, Guillaume.
Yeah, great. So I'm Guillaume Dupasquier, founder of Domo, based in Lausanne, Switzerland. The issue we want to solve, there are more seniors, 65 plus everywhere with chronic condition, such as heart failure or mental health, and they will double in the next 30 years, reaching 1.5 billion, and there's a lack of home care resources to care for them. Our mission is to keep people healthy and safe at home as long as possible and enjoying a good quality of life. What we sell is a medical software as a platform composed of some apps for home care nurses accessing digital health biomarker, such as sleep quality or mobility or vital sign. And our USP is machine learning techniques build over 300,000 days of data capable of predicting acute chronic condition. Our route to market is B2B2C to home care organization, and we sell software license and monthly subscription. We are in 5 countries in Europe and have B2B multi-channel partners such as Roche Pharma or Mediclinic. And we are preparing currently a Series C for expanding in more countries next year. Thank you very much.
Fantastic. Great job, Guillaume. Anis, what do you think?
Guillaume, congratulations again for joining this session. Guillaume, you're in a very tough industry.
Yeah.
This is a very crowded industry, and I know that you are trying to solve. You're monitoring the health of the elderly people. At the same time, you're also securing the safety by putting sensors and everything. You're a big IoT player in some sense. Am I correct? Yes, you're a big IoT player.
It's a mix of IoT and medical device together. Plus the clinical observation from home care nurse.
Yes, so I think you definitely, I know that you're in Switzerland, that's what you mentioned, I guess, at the beginning. So I think, I do not know, this is a very crowded area. You need to really find out clear differentiation, either by price point or by showing your excellence. I know that many large players also who are already in homes for something else, they're also looking at this industry and they are your competitors. So one way as a startup you can be quickly successful is also maybe feed them also, go to B2B2C model. Consider that, because it is very difficult to actually get into everybody's home as a startup with the limited amount of money most probably you have in hand and resource also. So see if you have some unique technology, if you can really system integrate well the sensors and all these devices together, most probably you can work with some of the large players to scale better and scale faster. However, if you can fundraise tons, from the very get-go, maybe you can try it on your own. You do not need to, partner with any B. You can go to B2C directly as well. So that would be my advice.
Thank you.
I was going to take this a different direction, which is just really understanding what is required to set up a home. And is there any way for you to bring that burden or that effort to make it faster and easier for you to be able to scale? And I second what Anna said, which, by the way, yes, it's a hard business to build, but also in some ways that's a moat too. So that can work to your advantage if you have the tenacity to be able to break through. And so I would ask the question of what is possible for you to better improve your ability to go faster and scale on limited dollars? Is there anything that you can do to make traction easier?
Well, we have partnered private hospital in Switzerland, and we've started with B2C, but now we are more in B2B2C, yeah. But a way to scale rapidly, because our USP is on software and machine learning techniques. So it's to partner existing players who are already in the home, and then just to sell our software as a service, as a piece of AI. And this we have started to already do it in Italy, in North Italy, with a public and B2G sector. So it's a company who is building energy and electricity to homes, and we are partnering with them to bring the piece of our software for the safety and the health of the elderly.
It looks like done in the US as well, yeah. It looks like you're on the right track. I really like what you're doing right now. So I think you need to have some credibility by working with these clients. We're working with the hospital, you're working with some other places in Switzerland. I think, once you finish that, take testimonials from them, right? That how great it was, how much money they saved, how much more secure they feel, how the customers are valuing that. So use this, each customer as your credibility point, and then take the brownie points, create some slides, go to the new customer so that they like it, what the other customers are saying. Because people do not want to believe you, but people believe your customer, because their feedback is much more important. So reference is the key point here to actually crack.
I fully agree. Yeah.
And I'll end on a quick high note, which is home care, at-home care is absolutely where the future is going. So you're in the right swim lane. It's a matter of being able to execute so that you can be there as it continues to be commonplace.
Yeah. That is a great final note. Guillaume, fantastic job. That was Domo Safety. Oh, it's nighttime now.
I am in Spain in Balearic Islands in Menorca.
So very nice. Jealous. Okay, have a good one, Guillaume, and Thank you so much for presenting. I have the hiccups. This is great timing. We're going to bring on our next company. That company is called StartGun, and Chris Curry is the founder. Chris, as soon as you get a chance, please turn on your camera and mic, because the longer that I'm on with hiccups, the worse we're all going to be for it. Okay, there you are. Take it away, Chris.
Okay. Hi, guys. My name is Chris, and I'm the founder of StartGun. And StartGun is a track and field training technology. So I was a sprinter in college, and these are the technologies that I wish I had when I was running. The StartGun has two features. The first is the free version, which allows a runner to practice block starts. And it simply takes the runner through an on your marks, get set, and gun process with a random amount of time between the set and the gun command to help a runner practice their reaction times. And the second is the just released. It's a the paid premium version for repeat workouts that any athlete will have multiple times throughout the week. And this involves workout tracking via wearables. So our unique UI tracks speed, heart rate, and times throughout a workout. And we can show athletes how they improve over a season. So if you're in the US, many athletes have an Apple Watch. If you go to track practice, nobody is using one. So we created a UI to enable the Apple Watch and other wearables in track practice.
Great job, Chris. Okay, cool. And this is all software, correct?
That's correct, yeah.
Cool, okay. Alexa, why don't you kick us off?
Can you describe in a little bit more detail how you think about competition and who would be your direct competitor today?
Yeah, so there are a lot of big companies such as Nike who have certain products out there. Nike goes after more of a distance running or the everyday athlete who has, who uses distance running throughout. So this is specifically niche for track and field athletes, specifically sprinters. And the UI is unique such that the workout that is tracked is a run, rest type of workout. And what we're integrating is essentially a coach's platform to where coaches can communicate their workouts with athletes. So it's specifically niche to that, where these bigger companies aren't necessarily in that space.
And are you going after professional athletes, everyday sprinters, as you think about your target audience? And really, again, I get that you appreciate that it's a niche audience, but how do you think about expanding it over time? How do you get it so that it's not just such a small target one day? What's the longer term vision?
The broader audience is more toward the high school and college athletes. So in the US, there are 1 million high school athletes compared to about 50,000 college athletes. And it's the same ratio worldwide. So it'll be more of an educational process on these younger athletes on how these technologies will help them improve, as well as adding additional features to start to kind of expand the niche that we're in to other athletes such as distance runners or the everyday running athlete.
I will jump in, and congratulations again for putting together this company. I will actually echo what Alexa mentioned, that you're in a niche market, and this market, most probably whenever we're investing, we want to invest in a company that covers a broader market size. You want to look at the market size as you're looking at it. So if you can make it more generic, because a lot of people exercise, right? If you make it generic, that will be better. I think you're also depending on Apple Watch or Apple phone. They need to hold the device so that you can use the gyroscope and sensor to actually track them, I guess. At this point, you want to come up with some ideas so that you can make it non-device dependent also. I think the part where you say that you can actually get the professional coach, give the feedback so that they can improve, I think that part is very key. You want to line up some top advisors in the industry, right? If you can find some Olympic players or something, become those advisors, they can actually also help, or someone who trained the Olympic, athletes in some sense. I think that will give you the most probably a bigger punchline in some sense, because people will start to believe that you have so many great advisors. When they can track you, how you're doing things, they can give you the right advice to improve, right? So advice-wise, if I summarize, you have to expand your market size a little bit. What Alexa and I am echoing together is that look at a bigger market, right? Don't just go for the athletes, make it more generic. And the second thing is that bring in top advisors who can actually really advise you and can make your advices a little bit more credible so that people will believe and trust the application.
And Chris, go ahead, Alexa.
I was just going to piggyback off that, which is, the market really is the 50 million runners, sprinters worldwide, and you're starting at building the best running app in the world. That in my mind is the vision of what you're doing, and what you're doing in year 1, year 2 is going after high school sprinters, of which there are 1 million. And I really like the idea of getting an Olympic advisor or somebody like that, and making it device independent.
Sure.
Yeah, I think the key here is like what they're talking about is a matter of communication, because you can actually expand just not only to runners, but like every track and field. Those are people who normally practice individually and compete individually. So it's different to get coaching. It's different to get feedback. You can be dominant in that space, and investors love giant TAM and really strong niche wedge. And then how do you get from A to B? So you're nailing niche wedge. You just got to paint the picture and tickle the imagination a little bit on what it could be in 5 years. I think that's what we're getting at.
Okay.
Great job, Chris. Okay,
Chris.
fantastic
job, Chris.
Thank you for being here. Okay, we have 2 more companies to go. The next one is called Sensors Call. And our CEO and co-founder is Feridun Taslimi. I think I got that right, but we'll get confirmation shortly. If you could just pop on your camera and your mic. My hiccups are gone for those keeping score at home. Okay. How you doing, sir?
Hello. Hello, everybody. Can you hear me?
We can. Great to have you here. So Julio's going to count you in right now. You take it away. Go ahead. Julio, you want to give him a restart here? Feridun, can you hear us?
Rolling.
I feel like we're having a little bit of technical difficulty. I'm not the only one that's feeling that, right? Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to have our technical team talking to... You are. So what I'm going to ask you to do is actually, you're going to go next, and I'm going to have Julio and Yashad talk to you a little bit about how you can fix your connection. So if you could just go off mic and camera, we're going to swap orders. They're going to try to help him with his connection. And with that, we're actually going to bump up Diana Teuberman, who is founder and CEO of Stroller Patrol. If you want to go ahead and turn your mic and camera on. Hey, how are you?
Hi, everyone.
Glad to have you here. Okay, so we've got 5 minutes to figure out his situation and also hear from you on Stroller Patrol. I'm very excited to hear about that. Julio is going to give you a countdown and you can take it away.
Great. Hi, everyone. My name is Diana Teuberman. I am the founder of Stroller Patrol and a parent of 2 kids. There are 2.1 million kids each year that are assaulted or neglected by babysitters and nannies, and hundreds of photos posted on social media by concerned parents looking to connect with parents of the children with little to no success. I started Stroller Patrol because I witnessed an alarming incident and had no way to notify the parents. We are the first and only app that connects parents with their community for the exchange of useful information directly and in real time, creating sort of a virtual village that keeps children safe. Parents can see where their children are while the nanny's on duty. Our unique announce feature allows community members in our network to send a message to the parents whose nannies are in the area at the time. Once parents recognize the nanny or the child, they can follow up with the sender. We have partnered up with parenting groups and top nanny agencies in New York City who will be endorsing us in all our marketing and promote Stroller Patrol to their nannies that they work with and the families that they serve.
Fantastic. Good job.
I'm happy to dive right in as a mother.
Yeah, take it away, Alexa.
As a mother of 3 little kids, first of all, I think it's a beautiful idea. And what I mean by that is if you think about Citizen, the founder of Citizen, it's a community-based app that helps make everybody safer. And because Citizen exists, less crime is happening because people are so aware that it is so actively, and they partner with the police. In so many ways, what you're doing has flavors of that. And I think to your point, being able to the fact that you simply exist is going to help make sure anybody who takes care of children are, you know, more thoughtful, more careful. And so while I wish it didn't need to exist, I will say that out loud. I think that in so many ways, what you're building really matters. My question really would be business model, and just trying to get a sense of how do you really get, you know, the business model to work?
Sure. So we right now we have a payment plan of $5.99 for parents only. This product will always be free to nannies. We are strategically partnering with the top, so far we have partnered up with 5 of the top nanny agencies in New York City. Each of them have over 1,000 families in their roster. They will encourage their nannies to use the app. It also allows the nanny to have a more competitive advantage in the marketplace for themselves as well, because they are offering a sense of transparency. Moreover, so our financial model is such that we are only charging customers' families. So all the nannies are free, and we will have additional features to the app later on where we will allow for a little higher pricing for those customers who have specific, to address their specific needs.
Awesome. Dennis, what do you think?
Congratulations. I think you're trying to solve a very critical problem we have in the industry. I think definitely you might struggle a little bit with the monetization side of it, because, you know, people do care. I know that it's only $4 or $5, but, you know, when they're signing up for something, they will care about that. And we need to really find out a way. You need to really find out a way where you can really make them to buy it, right? You need to figure out a way of doing that. I think, you know, it's all about flexibility. As you do the business and you go into the market, I mean, you have already launched it. And I think you are seeing the customer acquisitions. As you see the customer acquisitions, I think you also need to talk to people and get the feedback from people who are using it, and see how you can improve it to make it more vital need for them in some sense, because it's all about learning, right? I mean, you have to learn it from the industry and talk to your customers more and more. That would be my advice, and understand it more. From the sounds of it, it sounds like you might struggle a little bit at the beginning with the monetization. That's what my feeling is. I might be wrong, but definitely talk to your clients and understand it better and see what you can change to make it a vital app that they need to carry, and all parents should carry with the kid.
Thank you. Thank you.
Any final thoughts, Alexa?
Yeah, my last thought is going to be making sure that you actually find a way to get the connectivity to happen early. So let's say a photo is posted. If I'm paying $5.99, I want to make sure that I'm actually getting, you know, some way that you know, data is getting to me if one of my children's not safe. And I think those early days are going to be hard for you to figure out, but I'm sure you'll be able to figure it out if you really, really hone in on that problem.
I also think you're benefited by the fact that, like, impact investing is becoming investing, right? Like, and like the double bottom line is mattering so much more to VCs in the last few years than it felt like it has before. And so I think that you're going to benefit a lot from that, because it is a compelling story to tell, right? Protecting children. Everybody wants to do that. So keep up the good work. And thank you so much for being on the episode with us today. Great pitch.
Thank you very much.
Okay. We're going to try one more time with Faradun. He said he switched internet. So bring on your camera and your mic, and if we're just gonna hang out here for a second. Talk to me for a minute, Faradun. I want to make sure that you're coming through.
Can you hear me?
I can. Can you hear
Okay.
me?
Well, hopefully this time it'll work.
I'm having a good feeling about it. You want to go for it?
Sure.
Okay, let's fucking do it. Take it away, buddy.
A couple of years ago, I saw the agony my wife was going through looking after her mom, who lives right down the road from us. She's independent. She lives by herself. And all my wife wanted to know if she's okay. It's really, there is nothing out there that tells you your mom got up in the morning or she took the bath and everything is fine. So that's how our device, Kerality, was born. It's really a smart night light. You plug a couple of these in the home. We have 10 sensors, no camera, and it does not listen to your words, and you don't have to wear anything. We basically map out your activity, and anything unusual happens, we alert you. At the same time, we allow you to communicate with them directly without the use of their phone or landline. We can do medication reminders, and we build it similar to Tesla. Over time, we can add all kinds of features. So our purpose is to allow your loved one live independently at home safely and bring peace of mind to you.
I was muted. Great pitch. Fantastic. My puppy is getting excited about the pitch as well. And Anis, you want to take it away for us?
Yeah, so if you don't mind, great pitch. Congratulations on joining this session. Can you please also elaborate a little bit? Are you already selling this product? Are people already using it, or you just developed the product? Can you?
Well, we, believe it or not, during the COVID, we managed to manufacture it, which was not an easy thing. And we've been talking to a lot of people. A lot of people want to try it, but I wanted people to pay and try it. So we did a small crowdfunding and about 200, 300 people. And we started shipping last 60 days. And the reviews are absolutely fantastic. We're getting a lot of feedback. We ship to 12 different countries. And we're collecting a lot of information because there's a lot of things we can do with this device. For example, we can detect onset of depression and all kinds of loneliness, for example.
And
so
do you have a big team to help you? How many people do you have in your team right now?
Our team is about 10 people. And everything is done in-house, by the way, and we are self-funded.
Very good. I think I was going to tell you that you should do crowdfunding, but you already did it, so you are ahead of us. and I think it was a good idea to do the crowdfunding, because when you are looking at a hardware product, I think you also want to get the feedback, right? Dealing with a hardware product is not easy. I think we all know it's extremely difficult comparing to any software product. So you definitely want to make sure that you fundraise really hard, either through crowdfunding or you go for professional investors. But I think you really need to have a compelling story to them, and you need to really raise a lot of money. Manufacturing can become a deal breaker at some point, I can tell you that, because manufacturing is extremely difficult, especially when you are relying on a separate different country. So please make sure that you have not only your main, kind of like channel of getting it manufactured in a certain country, but you also have a backup plan in case there is some issues. Put together an organized team, use some of your early successes to build up the next success in some sense, get all the feedback, make the, manufacturing, process streamlined with a backup plan. I think you'll be good. You'll be doing good.
Thank you.
I was just going to jump in to just talk a little bit about what are the results that you're seeing so far?
Fantastic. We are the biggest problem with these devices is pairing it. So the pairing has been really good, and we are releasing basically features one chunk at a time. And people are really excited. And they call me and they give me ideas and so on. And it's been absolutely fantastic. It's much better than what I expected, because I know hardware is hard, and it's not something you can say, okay, download another software. I mean, it's hardware, and you can actually turn it into a brick if you're not careful.
In terms of what you're seeing from, you said the ability to see early depression, some of those early results, I would love to get a little bit more of like what you're able to detect. Lord knows I would love one of these to be in my mother's house, but I would love to get a little bit more on that.
We look at activities, and certain activities. Are you cooking? How long are you spending in bed, and so on? And based on those, there are some parameters we can look at, and we can say, hey, look, yeah, the person is not cooking, so possibly the person is moving towards depression. The other thing we're doing is through sound classification, we can figure out conversations. Are they talking? We don't listen to the words. Are they talking? And that could definitely create a depressive environment if the person hasn't had any conversations and things like that.
Great. Thank you for what you're building.
Thank you.
Awesome job. I'm so glad that we got your internet sorted too, and that you're able to pitch like big few across the board. So fantastic pitch. And with that, we have concluded our episode. All of these companies will be in the Startup Alley at Disrupt September 21st through 23rd. We're going to have a few more episodes just like this one over the course of the summer to get to know some of our Startup Alley companies. Huge thank you to Anis and Alexa for joining us and giving their expert feedback. You guys are the best. Extra Crunch Live goes down every Wednesday at noon Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern Time. We'll see you next week.
Thank you, Jordan.